Hello everyone. Hopefully you can hear me, especially with the phone being just like right there in front of me. I'm actually outside in the front of my garden, and hey, I actually wanted to come and share the rose bush that I've been posting pictures of, and she actually just blossomed this week, and I don't know if you could see her, but she's gorgeous and like she smells really sweet. And something that I wanted to actually come in and share was my experience in gratitude with the rose medicine that I've been working with, I would say the past year, and especially strongly during the past like couple of months. And in here, I've been writing about, the last post I wrote on IG here was about how we're all beautiful roses. If you can imagine ourselves like in a rose bush with all these different colors. And I literally went to teach yoga today, and in the morning they had a fair for the community. And the couple actually has like a rose bush farm, and they showed me that like a whole list of a bunch of species of roses, something like myrrh rose, rose tea, etc. type of variety. And that's where, if you see my stories, I actually shared a picture of one of the roses and a little like boomerang thing. And it's amazing to see, because I have two species, or three. I have one here, I have another one, and I have one other one in front, how different they look. And so I just wanted to again, just share my experience with working with this medicine with her, especially because we held our full moon ceremony like a week ago, right? And I've been, we have our container, and this beautiful soul, she's been working and healing with the rose medicine, and she herself was led to go through like, what do you call them, a botanical garden. And she was introduced and just allowed herself to share and welcome in the experience with the rose. And then on that note too, when you work with the rose medicine, she helps to expand your heart. And it's so important because you begin to realize, especially if you feel like self-acceptance and loving yourself doesn't really come natural or easy because you have a lot of blocks or trauma or experiences or memories that you're holding on to. And so I've been working with her so I can expand my receiving paradigm, not just in the physical level and like money aspect, but also in terms of what does that mean in so many areas of my life. And something I read today about abundance, that I'm reading about this book in terms of how to like learn the laws of like energy exchange, money, how to grow that, how to reinvest it. Hey, perfect timing. And a couple key points they were saying about this is that, especially as we talk about the spirit of rose and sharing our gifts, and in sharing, you can only give as much as you're willing to receive. How much are you willing to receive of yourself? How much are you willing to hold space and accept? And I'm just allowing a car to go through here. And one of the major things I hit with three key notes they were saying is you have to learn how to, one, save, right? Save, when we talk about money, is save money. Then on another level, you have to learn how to learn to have that seed, that that seed that you're planting, the thing that you give, if we're talking about energetic exchange, and how to have it eventually bear fruit, bear children, so it works for you. So you begin to plant more seeds in your garden, in your life, and now allow it to blossom and multiply. And then the third one is, then you have to learn too, in that whole entire process that really stuck out was, okay, when you say you're, and this comes with Gemini season, because we're just stepping into that space. Hey, with Gemini, and I've been getting these messages right now, it's like being careful, because Gemini is air energy. That's the mind, that's the thoughts, right? Speaking, that's another medium of air. That's how we transmute that energy from thought to words and into physicality, into the 3D and taking form. And you have to be careful about what you say, because when we talk about tarot, I believe it's the sign of like the sword, right? Air cuts, right? And when you say something, especially when it becomes to sharing your abundance, sharing your gifts, and receiving more of that, and multiplying it into fruition on a grander level than you could have ever thought possible, on that journey process, once you make an intention, a conviction of something you want to do, or even if it's right here in your heart space, it's like, a horse, when they have those like little, the little like shades here, and all they see is that path. That is all the path we're meant to see. You say you're going to do something, or even in your mind you're thinking about it, your heart feels this, go for it and stay on that path. And on that journey path, learn everything you need to do from those people in that area, every book, any textbook, whatever it is that you need to know as much as you can in that space, so that when you plant the seed and you turn your investment that you saved and you reinvest it, it'll multiply, because now you know what you're doing, right? It's not going to be a bad investment. And then the other part too, as you have your focus, do not put, or also be mindful of the thoughts you're saying to yourself about this work that you're doing. And so in this book that I'm reading, The Richest Man in Babylon, he tells a story of how, if I say, even from the most smallest minuscule thing I'm going to do it. If I said, I'm going to cross this bridge for 120 days, and every single day I'm going to throw a pebble off the bridge. It's just my goal. If I say I'm going to do that, I should do it. If there's a day I feel lazy, or if I forget, don't let it slide by and try to accumulate it and try to pile up the work the next day, try to make up for it. No. Make space. Commit to what you said you were going to do. And also, don't talk about the thing, the action, as if, oh, it doesn't matter, right? Because that goal you set for yourself, remember, the goal is not the actual thing that we're aiming for. It's really the journey experience. It's the experience along the way where we're going to be receiving all these seeds and fruit for ourselves, and then sharing that and multiplying it. It's the goal. Don't question that path, the work. Even when nobody congratulates you when you're doing that work in the background. Commit. Just do it. Because that little part is playing, it's a piece in the bigger puzzle, right? Eventually you'll see the fruit come to fruition. And so I thought that just kind of hit home in terms of when we talk about like, when I talk about like sharing your gifts, right? And then also the embodiment of your essence energy, your priestess, empress, whatever archetype you resonate with, and how to hone that in, and whatever wisdom comes through for you, and what you need to do in order to apply that in your current life, and whatever you do, right? Whether you're a mother at home, or you work a 9-to-5 job, you're always a priestess, you're always an empress, you're always a magician, in some aspect, way, or form, how are you going to apply that and using that etheric energy medicine that you bring in wisdom to be an activator and change in your field, right? On the whole cosmic Earth's grid. And so I wanted to come here and just also take a moment of gratitude to transition from that to just share a little bit of what I would say introducing the Koshi Chimes, which are, for me, like the energy spirit of wind, the chime aspect. And then we also specifically have today, we have the energy of earth and the energy of air. And why these two wanted to come through in front of the rose bush, it's because when we work with a spirit ally, and these are things I'm learning recently even more and ingraining it and allowing myself to embrace that aspect of me. And then you make an offering. I wrote about how, like, a year ago, I literally just practiced in front of her, like right here, but facing her, yoga. And I remember it was hot that day. And then here it is a year later, how she's been, without me like consciously knowing it at the time, working with me, guiding me with more plant energy and sound for my own healing that needed to come up most recently at a physical, but also all healing begins at the etheric level, right? Because all these issues begin at the etheric. So we work from there. And so I wanted to come in and just share a bit of sound with you. And if you're here either live with me or watching the recording, I invite you to just take a moment to tune in. Allow yourself to be in the present moment, just like I say when we go into our yoga journeys, meditative journeys. Wherever you are, if you're standing, just listening in, hey, take a moment to stand still and closing your eyes. If you're sitting, I invite you to find a comfortable position in either easy seated pose, and drawing the hands either on top of your thighs or right beside you, relaxing the shoulders as you breathe out through the mouth. Having the eyes closed, breathing in, maybe drawing that right hand over your navel, feeling the belly expanding. And as you feel that breath right up the torso, draw it over, left hand over the heart space, breathing in, and elbows out energetically. Feeling the breath right up the back of the throat, past the tip of the nose, the third eye, and the crown of your head. Sort of like a string, lengthening through the spine. And then open up the mouth and exhale, breathe out. Allowing the shoulders to relax. Allowing the energy to come down your arms, down your hips, down your legs. Breathing in, recycling that breath towards the front side of the body, up the shins, up the legs. Feeling the belly expanding on the inhale, brushing, massaging the solar plexus, the belly, past the heart space, up from the throat, massaging the throat chakra, allowing it come towards the crown of the head, and allowing every sound around you just to melt away as you exhale. Breathing out. Allow yourself to soften that breath. Notice the body sensations, left to right, and front and behind you. Breathing in. And if it helps, just keep the mouth open as you exhale, hearing the sound of your breath. The sounds around you melt away. Just focusing on the sound of your breath, thinking about how the element of air Just moves up on the inhale. And as you exhale, think about a feather. And notice what sounds you can bring in to your awareness. Whether it's the sounds of the crickets, and even catching the sound of the chime. It might be gentle. It might be soft. Maybe you catch it in between the chirps of the crickets. And just allowing yourself to focus on the sound of your breath. Visualizing right over that sacral chakra, the belly button, a spiral. And even the spiral can take form like a whirlwind. Or even when you think about a body of water, and as you draw that next inhale, past the solar plexus, past the heart space, which is actually the energy, spirit of wind. Just tuning into the silence for a moment. Every noise that goes through just helps you to paint the picture of you noticing the difference between your external world, those thoughts, that sound, like the distractions, right? And even when you can hear the chimes of your breath, the chimes of your heart's desire, your wishes, your goals this month, this week. What you're looking for is for that chime. In the midst of everything else that says otherwise, right? And also welcoming in that every sound you hear is part of the symphony of the rosebush. And maybe allowing any visions, any feelings, sensations that come from your heart to come up for you. Maybe even the visualization of the rose bush here. No sound is a bad sound. Really, all of it can tell a story, can paint a picture on the chapter of your life. And I invite you to think about that thing you said you were going to do, or even what your heart has been calling you to do, but you have yet to act on it and release on the exhale. Any doubt, putting your blinders on. Even in the midst of the siren sound around you, you're the wind chime in the midst of all the noise. You're the bell that brings the clarity. And if you can just remember that, you're looking for the wind chime. You're looking for that thought. You're looking for that prayer. You're looking for that desire that cuts through all the noise, that filters it through and will lead the way.